I was thinking about perfectionism and realizing it's such a big word. It covers just a multitude of behaviors. And so I wanted to pull back the curtain on it a little bit and parse it out a little bit and see kind of really what's going on. This is not meant to be definitive, of course, but here are the three kinds of perfectionism that I notice a lot, and maybe some of them will resonate with you. One is this feeling of, I need to make everything perfect for everyone else. It's up to me to make sure that everything is managed well for the benefit of other people. And this, like all behavior, has its roots in, first of all, just survival. We're group animals. We want other people to be happy. We want the group to survive. And also just a true spirit of generosity and giving. I know a lot of you are naturally generous people, or you're like me, you get pleasure from watching other people's pleasure, right? But there's a darker side to it too. There's the side of feeling like you need to earn your place in the world, right? Like it's only okay for me to be here if I am doing, if I am working, if I am contributing, if I am bringing something of value to the table, if I do the dishes, if I get up and help, if I, am somehow contributing something significant. It's not okay for me to just show up and, show up at a party, have a drink and go home. Like my friend Phil, my friend and writing partner Phil and I were going to a gathering at someone's house. And I said I had to stop and get a hostess gift. And he's like, no, you don't, Sam. It's a housewarming. It's a huge party. They're never going to notice. Like, we're late already. Let's just go. And I was like, Phil, I cannot show up empty handed. Partly my grandmother, the ghost of my grandmother is like sitting on my shoulder. Like she won't let me, but also it's just me. Like, I feel like I don't feel comfortable accepting someone's hospitality without bringing them a little hostess gift. It doesn't have to be anything big, just an acknowledgement that they put themselves out to put a party together. And I want them to know that that's not insignificant. So again, there's just politeness, right? But then there's also that sense of like, it's not okay for me to just receive. I need to be constantly earning my place in the world. And the other thing that this breeds is this hyper vigilance with other people. And for those of us who grew up in sort of a chaotic or traumatic home, or even just a home for whatever reason, you were expected to be a little bit more of a grown-up than a child. This can mean that you end up spending a lot of time and energy really making sure that everyone is okay, like really using all your spidey senses and your, drama of the gifted child antenna to make sure that every single person is as happy as they can be. And you're sort of always navigating the spider web of energy between people. And, it's a lot. It's a lot. And I know a lot of you are sensitive people and highly sensitive people. And so you're picking up a lot of these vibes no matter what. And then if you have that additional feeling of like, no, it's my job to make it perfect for everyone. Well, that's a lot of work, isn't it? So I wanted to sort of call this out before for us and notice that what this leads to is self-sacrifice, right? I'm just going to do for everyone and not do for myself. Total exhaustion, complete burnout, and honestly, a little bit delusions of grandeur, right? Because you can't make everyone else happy. You just can't. I wish you could. I wish I could, but it's not possible. You are reaching past the limits of your personal power when you do that, right? So the thought I might suggest is this. And if you're a writer downer, you can write this down. Everyone creates their own experience. Everyone creates their own experience. It is not up to you to make every experience wonderful for everyone else. In fact, it can't be up to you. That would be weird, right? So that's one way perfectionism can show up and ruin your life. Another way is, so that's I need everything to be perfect for everyone else. Another way it shows up is my work needs to be perfect. My work needs to be perfect. My work needs to be above reproach. I need to get every gold star. I can't let anything out of the house unless it's perfect. Sometimes I can't even let it outside of my mind unless it's perfect inside of my mind first. I can't even start a project, start an idea until I know exactly what it is I'm doing. And this just puts such a big fat foot on creativity, right? Put a big fat foot on the neck of your creativity, because for most things, you don't really know even what it is until you start working, right? You may think it's one thing inside of your mind, but then you start and you, oh, it's got to be this way. And oh, wait, they don't have that kind of tile. And oh, wait, it's got to be this. And, it moves and adjusts. That's part of the joy of the creative process, is being in dialogue with the project, seeing where the project leads you, seeing who the project needs you to be. And there's so, again, we got a lot of programming around this from school and from society and from our parents about like, well, you got to get all the gold stars. You got to get an A+. You can't, anything less than an A+ is failure, and we don't fail. And I totally, I get that. But you see the little insidious superiority complex that's in there too. That feeling of like, oh no, my work has to be perfect because I'm not like them. Those messy people. Oh, speaking of messy people, look, here's a kitty. Here's my Annabelle. Say hi. They're getting so big, aren't they? Okay. There you go. Little kitty flyby, nothing like it. Kitty. Okay, so the insidious superiority. My work needs to be better. My work isn't like them, those messy people, right? I would never let anything out of the house like that. I would never serve pre-made food at a dinner party. I would never this, that, the other thing. And it's a cold comfort, isn't it? Anytime we're comparing ourselves to other people and feeling either superior or inferior, it's not going well for anybody. That's not a good sign, right? So if you're looking for signs that you're maybe engaging in some maladaptive behavior, comparison's a really good one. Again, there's consequences to this my work needs to be perfect thing, right? Again, total exhaustion, right? You will wear yourself out paying attention to details that no one else cares about. No one else is even noticing, that in the long run, or even the short run, do not matter. Often, like I said, you never get started. You never even begin because you have this whole complex about how, well, what if it's not perfect inside of my mind? Or what if I do it and it's not perfect? Or what if I do it and I think it's perfect and then everybody else thinks it's shit? Like, yeah, those thoughts will clamp down on your creativity and keep you from producing anything, much less anything of value, right? It also triggers that hypercriticism, right? Because while you are constantly checking your own paper for gold stars, it means you're constantly checking everybody else's paper for gold stars too. And that's not pretty. That's not nice, right? We cannot truly be kind to other people if we are not also kind to ourselves. We cannot give what we do not have. So I'm not saying lower your standards. I'm saying live. Engage, forgive, move faster, break this tight constraint, this thin, like I have this image of like a thin ceramic jar that you're trapped inside of, like bust it open and start to live. Yeah. And also, there's, speaking of insidiousness, there's also a little bit of smugness there, right? With the perfectionism. And, there's good smugness and bad smugness. There's smugness that just, if you feeling pleased with yourself because you did something cool and you want to feel good about it. I love that kind of smugness, that kind of vanity, that kind of pride of like, yeah, that's right. I did that, check. But then there's the smugness of that's real self-satisfaction, right? There's the smugness that's kind of the sin of smugness, because it's the sin is separation, right? That's the root word of sin. So when we hold ourselves separate from other people, we suffer, and so do they. So if you've got the whole my work needs to be perfect, you might want to try thinking the thought, everything is temporary. Even your most perfect work even your most perfect outfit, even your most perfect word, even your most perfect everything will one day be dust. Your job is not to make life perfect or make your work perfect. It is to enjoy life. It is to reveal the selfness of yourself. It is to allow divine creativity that flows through you as you out into the world so that it can heal other people in the way that you have been healed by other people's work. The third kind of perfectionism that I notice in myself and in others is a little more classic, right? It's the I need to be perfect. The assumption underneath that, of course, is I am somehow currently imperfect. And so now I must do all the monitoring and all the spackling and all the primping and tweaking and monitoring to make sure that I at least appear as perfect because I am so acutely aware of my deep imperfections. And maybe it's not just you, maybe it's my house needs to be perfect, or my family needs to be perfect, or my team needs to be perfect, or my business needs to be perfect. And again, what we see here is what that means is you have to, it's more the hypervigilance, right? You have to be constantly monitoring to make sure that no one is perceiving any imperfections anywhere. You're constantly shining a flashlight on everything. You cannot relax for a minute, and you're living in terror that somebody's going to notice something imperfect about you. This leads to a lack of vulnerability, right? Because we're not showing our real self to people. We're showing a manufactured facade. It can lead to a lack of empathy because you are so busy paying attention to your own anxiety and your own perfectionism-esqueness, your own perfectionism-esqueness, that you lose sight of other people. You don't notice what's going on with them because you are so busy maintaining the image of what's happening for you. And this might be the worst part. The I need to be perfect, my life needs to appear perfect really creates a no fun zone, right? There's not a lot of spontaneity. There's not a lot of belly laughs. There's not a lot of giggling. There's not a lot of hot sex. There's not a lot of, afternoon orgasms. There's not a lot of delicious treats. There's not a lot of yumminess in perfectionism, I think. And if you can think of it as trading perfectionism for fun, that might be, I feel like, a better deal for you. But the thought I have, right, if the thought for I need to make everything perfect for everyone else is everyone creates their own experience, and the thought is, for my work needs to be perfect, is everything is temporary, then the thought for I need to be perfect, my house, my appearance, my family needs to be perfect, might be I am as God made me to be, and God don't make no junk, right? Another way to think of this is to think of perfect not as perfect like flawless, but perfect as in perfect unto itself. You may have heard me say before, if we had 8 babies in front of us, we would not say that one baby is more perfect than another baby. All the babies are perfect, even the babies who look different, even the babies who have different abilities or skills or natural talents, even the babies at born into different income levels or stratas of society, we still say that baby is perfect. All of those babies are perfect. And guess what you are? You are one of those babies. So if perfectionism is stressing you out, I invite you into a practice of gentleness, into a practice of forgiveness, into a practice of experimentation. We got a question, Christopher. Hi, Christopher. Asked about the Get It Done Lab. Yes, we will absolutely be offering the Get It Done Lab soon. And we're a little more than halfway through, and it's gone really, really well. So we will absolutely be offering it again for a new cohort that starts in January, and there will be a sale coming. So keep your eye on your email box because you will have an opportunity to get it at a discount. But Chris, I would love to see you in the Get It Done Lab. I'd love to see all of you in the Get It Done Lab. It's been an extraordinary experience for the people participating. And partly because of that, like, it sort of sounds like, Get It Done Lab sort of sounds like, oh, Sam's going to stand over me for 90 days and I'm going to get it done. But that's not really what happens. I mean, I'm definitely there, and we definitely create a container of doing, of productivity, but it's really more about experimentation. It's more about like, well, how do I show up today? How am I in relationship with this work today? Oh, look, today I sat down to do 15 minutes and I got up 4 hours later. Oh gosh, today I didn't get to my 15 minutes. So I'm going to count the 15 minutes I spent waiting at the dry cleaners as my 15 minutes because I was daydreaming during that time. Like, you get to adjust the rules for however you are, however your life is, and to watch you and your project or multiple projects morph and grow and shift and change as you are in dynamic relationship with them. It's really, really exciting. And we're getting a lot of big ahas. So pretty fun. Julie says, Christopher, for me, the Get It Done Lab has been fantastic. And yes, she's going to offer it again. Yeah, and we have a lot of people who are in this initial class who are going to take it a second time, which is what I had hoped for. Nancy says, perfectionism in parenting is a huge trap and inadvertently sets children on the same road. Yep, for sure. Julie says, I love it. Perfect does not mean flawless. Ronnie says, you just made me cry. I'm a perfect baby. You are a perfect baby. You are 100% a perfect baby. Yeah. Julie says the support in the Get It Done group has been really effective and lovely. Yeah, it's nice to do things in the group. It's nice to do things with other people who are interested in the same things you are and who don't have any real investment in what you're doing. So they're just perfectly happy. You do great. They're like, yay. You have a shitty day. They're like, yay, it's fine. Tomorrow's another day. Move on. So yeah, I would love to welcome you into that. Diana says, I love to say, if you ever want to see something beautiful and amazing, something totally unique and wonderful, look in a mirror. That's right. That's right. Christopher says, thanks, Sam. Will you be showcasing the participants and what they accomplished? I remember you creating a showcase a while back. Did that go well? Wow, you have a great memory, Christopher. I did do that a couple of years ago. It did go well. It was an enormous amount of work. So I think we will probably not do that, or not quite in that way this time. But we're definitely collecting success stories. And again, it's not really about what you do or don't get done. It's about you engaging in the miracle of your own productivity. It's about you leaning in to your own voice, to your own desire, to what you want to do. I'm on a big crusade these days that productivity is not about doing more. It's about doing what matters. It's not about hustle. It's about energy. It's not about managing your calendar. It's about managing yourself. And the more we learn about our own patterns, about where we get ourselves stuck and where we let ourselves go and what systems work for us and don't work for us, once you understand your own systems, you can do better. I just had a day yesterday. Here's my system. I'm not proud of this. This is just seems to be how it works for me. Everything for me happens on paper, right? Everything happens on a Levenger legal pad, and then I put them in file folders like I'm a sixth grader because I like file folders, and paper pocket folders, right? And along the way, there's a giant pile that accumulates right over there, right over here, of things that need to be filed. And about once a quarter, it gets to about 2 feet tall, and then I spend, I don't know, it doesn't usually take me too long, but I spend, part of an afternoon going through that whole pile and usually throwing away probably about 2/3 of it and then filing the other third. And like, once I finally got over myself that like, no, Sam, you're not going to file every day. You're not even a file every week person. You're a file once a quarter person. There's no crime in that. It's fine, right? And he says, doing what matters is more important than doing more. Yes. Julie says, I'm going to re-up. Awesome. Mariania says, this is a great revealing awareness and vulnerability today. I want to share with my perfectionistic niece. I lost most of my perfectionist somewhere along the way. Thank you. Helen says she loves paper. I know, I love paper. I love paper. Good. Well, we're a little past our half hour, so I want to go ahead and let you all get on with the rest of your day. I'm so thrilled and honored. It's always a delight to me to see you here. Please do invite your niece, invite everybody, invite your neighbors, invite your friends. Your friends are the coolest people there are. So I would love to have them as part of this circle, whether they join us on Zoom or they join us on the Facebook page or in the Secrets of Highly Productive Facebook group. It would mean a lot to me if you wanted to invite somebody in. So let's do one more breath to close out this circle. You ready? Let's inhale, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for doing this with me. Mwah.